Tao. Life is total, a balance between objective and subjective. This talk is like a flight. If you want to ride the flight, the pilot does not fly the plane according to your likings. One thing is certain: when you take the flight, it will certainly take you to your destination where this flight is going. But it does not wait for you. The flight starts at a certain time according to its own specifications. All these talks are like this. Pilot comes in time, before time, to prepare, make all the arrangements for flight to take off. So like a pilot, I come to check if everything is in order. Now it does not wait for the passengers to come. They have to reach in time to ride the flight. Life is total, and for that there are two approaches. One is object-centered approach. This is Western approach. The other is subject-centered approach, which is Eastern approach. Or you can say object-centered culture as well as the subject-centered culture. One belongs to the West and the other belongs to the East. You cannot be objective or subjective. Instead, you are a blend of the two, objective and subjective. In 1946, there was a Greek poet, a writer, philosopher, Nikos Kazantzakis, Nikos Kazantzakis. He wrote a play, Zorba the Greek. Zorba the Greek, creating a balance between objective and subjective cultures. Based on that, Osho developed the concept of Zorba the Buddha. You cannot be Buddha, or you cannot be Zorba alone. Zorba is the one who is involved in the worldly things, does everything, normal life, the normal way of life, dressing, eating, doing things, but you have to do it with a balance between object-oriented, object-centered culture and subject-centered culture. And for that, there need to be awareness. You are going to the parties, you are going to the functions, that is Zorba. Are you going there as Zorba? But do not let the world be with the Buddha. Means one who established, who balance between life is both objective and awakening, alertness, objects and beings. You have to deal with the people on a day-to-day basis. So are you dealing with them with your subjective approach or objective approach? Are you purely materialistic, or in order to live in the world, money is the measuring rod, an important tool for everything? Is your life based on the money, or money is a means to carry on your work? And in order to make my living, or your living you have to work. Maybe you may be involved in business, so you are dealing with objects and the beings, people. You are serving them, but everyone who comes in has a totally a different approach. So you have to deal accordingly, but there has to be compassion, which is a fragrance of your subjective life. Are you dealing with the person with that approach or not? And this is where the balance between objective and subjective life is the theme of Kazanzaki's play Zorba the Greek. It was translated in many languages, and Osho's concept of Zorba the Buddha. You are in the world, you are doing whatsoever you have to do, but let there be awareness until the things create a balance. You are like a tightrope walker. You are not one-sided. This one-sided development occurs as a natural fallacy, as a very natural fallacy. Try to understand the natural fallacy because many things depend on it. Whenever something is said, that means the opposite is denied. Opposite is denied. Whenever something is said, something is simultaneously denied. If I say God is within, so that means God without is denied. God without is denied. I have heard Tulsidas, the composer of Ramcharitmanas, wrote a chaupai. सिया राम मैं सब जग जानी, करो प्रणाम जोर जुग पानी. सिया राम मैं सब जग जानी, karo pranam jor jug pani. The entire cosmos is permeating the Ram's consciousness. So you can Siya Ram, my sab jag jani, I know that God consciousness is permeating through everything sentient and insentient. Karo pranam jor jug pani. So I, with my folded hands, I salute that. Tulsidas was, after writing this couplet, was taking a bath in the Saryu river that flowed around Ayodhya. All of a sudden a boy came running and he said, Baba, Baba, run. A mad male cow, that is known as sound in Hindi language, male cow, is coming and it is very strong and mad. So run. So Tulsidas remembered that Siya Ram mai sab jag jani, karo pranam jor jug pani. That means he is a bigger Ram and I am a smaller Ram. So why bigger Ram will damage the smaller Ram? So he remained there. And what did this male cow did? He played football with Tulsidas, put him on his horns and threw him. So Tulsidas said, look like that I wrote this couplet wrong. Siya Ram mai sab jag jani. I know that God permeates through entire creation, sentient and insentient, and it seems to be wrong. So why this mad male cow came and played me like a football? So he was going to change the couplet, that this is wrong. So was going to rewrite it. Same time it is said Hanumanji came. He said, Tulsidas, what are you doing? He said, this couplet I wrote, it seems it is wrong. And I thought that why the big Ram will destroy the small ram. So Hanuman held on to the hand of Tulsidas. No. He said, before that mad animal, male cow, Sant came, did anybody else came? He said, yes, a boy came and he told me, Baba, run away. The mad male cow is coming. So Hanuman said, was God, Ram's consciousness was not permeating through that young boy who came as an admonition to admonish you that a violent male cow is coming, so keep the path clear. So three characters, you seeing the God's, Ram's consciousness permeating through the everything sentient and insentient. You are aware. The male cow is not aware of this. And the boy comes. He is not aware, but he came as an admonition to you. He saw a mad male cow running towards the river and he admonished you. This is how circumstances and situation comes in life. So Ram's consciousness was flowing in the sentient and insentient, even in the male cow, but the boy, in him also male consciousness was permeating, but Tulsidas thought it otherwise. He thought that because there is a male consciousness permeating through this animal, so it will not, through Ram's consciousness is manifesting through it, it will not destroy me, it will not damage me. So you have to know, in a particular circumstance and situation, when an admonition comes through you, admonition comes to you or through you, listen to that also. So everything, God is, the moment you said you focus on subjectivity, God is within, the God outside is denied. So what Tulsidas denied the presence of God in that little boy. And he continued with his understanding that Ram's consciousness permeates through the entire cosmos, even through this mad animal, and it will not destroy me. But it happened the otherwise, because he paid no attention to the child who also manifested God's consciousness. God is without is denied. I have not mentioned it at all, but I said God is without. Then God is, if you say God is without, means outside, then God within is denied. Can Tulsidas say that in him there is a presence of God, and he said the presence of God or Ram is there in that mad animal as well, but not in the child? To be silent, you have to move inward. It is implied that if you move outward, you will never remain silent. When you are sitting in a meditation, listening to this talk, you have to be silent. Then afterwards, you have to go to a party, then you have to act differently. But deep within, you have to know that godliness permeates through the entire cosmos, sentient and insentient. So whenever it is said in language is incomplete and imperfect, it does not reflect the totality. So whatsoever is said in language always negates something. The moment I say God is within, the God outside is denied. The moment I say God is without, the God within is denied. So the West is focused on object centered culture. East revolves around subject centered culture. This means language can never cover the totality of life. If you try to cover up the whole of the life, language becomes illogical, irrational. If I say God is within and God is without, it becomes meaningless. You call someone, I am hungry. I am hungry. Correct? Everybody will understand this. And so the person starts preparing the food for you. It takes half an hour to prepare the food for you. Then he brings the food. But in the meantime, you are so hungry, you pick up something and you eat. When the food comes, you say, I am not hungry. Can you say simultaneously, I am hungry and I am not hungry? So the person will say, 10 minutes ago you said, I am very hungry, I am dying of hunger. Now you said, I am not hungry. But in between those 10 minutes, what had happened? So language is always falsifies. You cannot say, I am, God is within and God without. That is why Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sitoshna Samadukha, who remains equipoised in the two circumstances, heat and cold, in opposites. So God is within, it is half of the truth. God is without is half. The total truth is God is both within and without. You have experienced God within, and because of that experience of God within, you can see God in everyone. So you do not see anything contrary to the other. So Tulsidas, with that vision, saw Ram's consciousness in that animal as well. But he denied that in the child, thinking that his understanding is better, and in the form of whose consciousness came to admonish Tulsidas at that moment in the form of a child. It was the same consciousness. The language falsifies. If I say everything is God, this too becomes meaningless. If I say whether you go out or you go in, silence is achieved. This cannot carry any meaning because I am saying both the opposites. I am putting them together. And so it is what is happening. Your car battery, the positive pole are working together in. Does it not happen? The two poles neutralize one another. The opposites, positive and negative, are opposite to one another. They neutralize one another. Only then car battery tumbles and starts your vehicle. So if life is a vehicle, in order to continue your journey along life's road, you have to neutralize the both positive and negative so that your battery of life can tumble and it can start, and only when it starts then it can gain momentum and you can continue the journey. If I say whether you go out or go in, silence is achieved. no meaning is carried, then because I am saying both opposites simultaneously. But we see in life, even the bulb lights only when the positive current comes from the outside. The negative pole is generated with the metal part of the bulb, because the socket of the bulb and the two neutralize one another. Your normal battery, pen light or anything has the positive and negative poles separated from one another, but when the balance is created between the two, then the battery does its work for which it is made. It has been designed to give you light, but if the positive and negative poles are shorting one another, the light battery cannot function properly. This we understand. But when it comes to life, we want to deny the one for the other and consider this illogical. I am putting them together, they negate each other, and then nothing is said. It has been tried. It has been tried many times that whole of life will be covered by linguistic expression. It has never been successful and can never be successful linguistically. You can do it, but your assertions becomes mystic. That's why the life is mysticism. It is totality of the two opposites. They do not carry any meaning. Logic has some requirement to be fulfilled, and language is logic. If you ask me, are you here? And I say yes, in a sense I am here, and in a sense I am not. Or I can say both yes or no. Are you here? Yes. No, not here. Then if you love me, you will call me a madman. You have to say one thing. One moment you say I am in, next moment said I am not. Because how can you be both? Either I am here or I am not here. But there is something between, within. Then I must say no. I am here. Somebody is seeing me here. Are you here? No, I'm not. But I'm seeing you. I'm somewhere else. But I can say yes and no both together simultaneously. I am taking a jump out of the logical structure of the language. Mysticism is taking a jump out of the logical structure of language. Language is always a choice. Because of this, all the cultures, all the societies, all the civilizations become one-sided, and no culture can exist without language. That's why West is object centered or object oriented culture, and East is subject centered or subject oriented culture. Really, language creates the culture. Man is the only one. Man is the only language. Man. Language animal. Man is the only one who depends on the language. No other animal creates society or civilization. In a way it is good, but in a way it is not. Only man creates cultures and civilizations and society. No animal does that. And with language, choice enters, and with choice comes imbalance. With language, choice comes in, either to choose this or that. And when you choose, then an imbalance comes in. You are choosing this or that. And you are indecisive whether to choose Coke or Sprite, whether to choose water or a sugar based juice. So both are there. No animal is imbalanced, remember. Only man is imbalanced because of this. All animals exist in deep balance, in harmony. Trees, the rocks, the mountains, everything. Everything is balanced, only man is imbalanced. What is the problem? Man lives through language. Language creates the choice, and choice creates imbalance. Man creates language because he lives through the language. There is no other way. And language creates a choice, and because of the choice, imbalance is created. Enough for now. This talk will continue over this weekend on Sunday and Monday sessions.